All right, everyone. Trump is threatening an additional tariff on Canada. It's a little bit of back and forth with regards to the tariffs. One day it's like, hey, we're going to tariff you at 35%, like the description archived, of course. The next day it's like, well, you've negotiated with us, so we're not going to tariff you at that level. I would say when people complain about Trump's tariffing, keep in mind that the nations that he's targeting are already tariffing U.S. goods, sometimes at far more than 35%. Canada, for example, tariffs certain U.S. goods at about 90%. Well, that pretty much prices you out of the market, now doesn't it? So when people complain and say, well, this is a bad gesture to our neighbor. Yeah, I love Canadians. I've got plenty of Canadians in my audience. I don't want anything bad for them. But if you're pricing us out of the market and the United States decides to retaliate by doing effectively the same thing, it's even Stevens. The whole goal, in my opinion, with Trump's tariffs is to eliminate tariffing entirely by making the tariffs so onerous on other countries that their own tariffs, which they've had in many cases in long-standing form, ineffective. What ends up happening is that both countries have to come to the negotiating table and say, look, we can't do this anymore. This is untenable. It doesn't make any sense because tariffs don't really make sense for the most part. And so we're going to negotiate with regards to, this particular commodity or this particular good or this particular service. The United States and Canada have been allies for a very long time. We share a very large border. I believe the largest singular border in the world, if I remember correctly. Although maybe China and Russia would be close. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's the largest contiguous border in the entire world. We have a great deal of trade. Canada is one of our top trading partners, and nobody has a problem with Canadians. You think that I have a problem with Canadians? The only problem that I have is that your maple syrup isn't as good as the stuff that's made in Vermont. You need to get shipshape on that one. Other than that, no problems at all. And the fact that the Quebecois don't generally understand the concept of tipping. Other than that, no problems at all. Canada is a close ally. It's a military ally. It's a diplomatic ally. It's a geostrategic ally. Americans and Canadians at one point could cross the border without a visa, and there was no problem. We should go back to that, by the way. And there was no issue whatsoever. Nobody has a problem with Canadians. Most of you are speaking English and Canadians are great people and like hockey, Northern New Englanders, we can empathize. But at the same time, with regards to the government of Canada and the government of the United States, Canada has imposed onerous tariffs on the United States for decades and decades. Sometimes, again, these reach into the three-figure mark. So it's beyond 100% tariffing that you're dealing with. What is the United States supposed to do? Our government is incepted, supposedly, and I do say supposedly, to represent the interests of the American people. If it's going to represent those interests, then it's going to have to hardball even allies when they mistreat the country and its economy. Our businesses, if we're going to have a global economy, are going to be able to compete, therefore, fair and square with foreign businesses for lumber, for fuel, for salt, for literally anything under the sun, automotive manufacturing, refined goods, unrefined goods, raw goods. It doesn't really make a difference. We're going to be able to actually compete with these other countries under the Trump system. This is not because we dislike these foreign countries or have a problem with them. It's understanding that these foreign countries' governments have imposed tariffs on our economy and prevented us from entering those markets while we're not doing anything in return. For decades and decades, the US government is like, well, we'll have like a 5% tariff on Canadian steel or something like that. something it doesn't even make any difference. It's not going to prop up U.S. steel. We're going to have a 5% tariff on Canadian oil. Great. That's really going to help our oil industry. It's going to help us to have more mining and so forth, more extraction. No, it's not. It's not going to do anything. It's basically just a token gesture. Trump, meanwhile, is hardballing many countries with tariffs that are in the double-digit range. The idea is to force them to the negotiating table in which eventually they lower their tariffs on US goods. That allows more output, it allows more manufacturing, it allows for more jobs to be created. That's what our government is kind of incepted to do. Hey, protect us from foreign adversaries and from foreign friends that simply want to get a buck off of the United States because it was so hedonistic for so long that it never took any steps to prevent this situation from happening. It's not that we want to be non-allies, it's that we want fair trade. That was the whole point of the inception of the United States. A big part of it was free trade. Hey, I've got this good, you've got that good. Let's trade straight across. By the way, I don't believe that these transactions should be taxed in any way, shape, or form. I believe that that is, by the way, against the concept of free trade. No, we need like a pirate nation, quite literally. We need a nation that is representative, ultimately democratic. People do what they want to do. They trade freely. They do what they want, and they're left alone, generally speaking. 90% of the laws on the book shouldn't even exist, in my personal opinion. But that's just my opinion as an American citizen, of which I'm very proud to be part of. I would like to be more proud of it. That's why I support what Trump is doing. Because by backing other nations down by saying, hey, we're going to put a 35% flat tariff on all of your goods, pricing you out of our market entirely, they will come to the table and then negotiations will be had. That's the whole goddamn point. That's about all. Peace out.